Okay, I have 6 o'clock. I'll call this meeting of Budget and Finance to order. Um, of course, last night was asked to if see if Sheriff Russell could join us tonight. I think there were one or two questions some the committee had, so I will open things up with any questions for Sheriff Russell. Mr. Gully.
The question that was asked, there was a discussion on sheriff's line item. If we want to get back to that spot, give me just a second and I'll find it. I didn't know where you were going to start this, so give me just a second. I'll find that where I'm wanting to go.
Hang on, Sheriff. Tell you what's Sheriff. Yeah, it should be page 16 of your packet.
I believe it'd be on page 17, line item 54 110 719. If I'm looking at my notes correctly, our original motion was to strike from two cars to one car for this year. One in the 111 and one in the 101.
Correct.
I also that night had asked a question to Miss Amy about the county drug fund, which is 122, I believe. Miss Amy, if I miss a number, help me here. I hadn't studied as much today as I usually would. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
122 drug fund. That's what I make sure I was on the right number here. That's what I was asking for. Thank y'all. So as we go back to that 122 here, which has a fund balance of $138,977. Ms. Amy, I believe if I read my email correctly from you, this can be used for anything such as anything to do with drug prevention, movements such as that, and one-time purchases for the sheriff department, which to me, a one-time purchase could fall under a one-time car bought out of this piece at 75,000, which we're trying to find dollars to come out of the 101 this year to help not have to raise taxes. That's all. I hope that's every one of our goals here tonight is to not raise taxes. Heck, if we can find a way, let's lower them. But I would hope our goal is especially not to increase them. So I'm asking, and I don't know which way you want to do this as a chair, that we look at moving that one motor vehicle on line item 54 110 718, and that come out of the 122 is what I'm asking consideration of.
okay. Well, we did inquire with Wesley Robertson at CTAS, and he did indicate that yes, he believed that could be used. That 122 could be used for non-recurring law enforcement related expenses, I believe was the term. I think we were checking with the comptroller to verify that. Okay, the comptroller did verify that per Amy. I believe also though, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the sheriff has to agree to any expenses out of that 122. Am I correct on that, Ray?
Yeah, that's correct. I was trying to talk about that the other night, that what we use this money for, we get it through seizures and fines and stuff like that. It takes a long time for this to build up. And in the past, we've bought a box trailer to haul our range equipment in. We bought a car trailer to haul our seized vehicles with. We bought SWAT team gear. We bought weapons. We bought drug dogs. And I've kept this money aside to keep from having to come to the county commission and say, I need $10,000 for a drug dog. I need 15,000 for this. And that money is set up for the sheriffs, and the only way it can be used with the sheriff's consent.
Well, and I will also point out, of course, the budget and finance agenda packet has not gone out to the members yet, but I have been reviewing this month's agenda with Amy, and there is a budget amendment coming to the committee Monday evening. Of course, we'd been discussing, had mentioned that the jail needed a new generator. There is a $60,000 budget amendment from 122 that we will have before us Monday evening to discuss.
I'm glad we understand that that's coming our way, but we're dealing with a budget piece for next year on this piece tonight. And that money's going to come from somewhere as well, but so does this. And we were trying to look for money pieces in the 101. And in trying to look for money pieces in the 101, that's on what you're talking about is FY 26. I'm trying to talk about FY 27's budget right now. As we're looking at, and I don't disagree, and I appreciate letting us know that we're going to be hit with a $60,000 generator. I knew we were getting in need of a generator, and it sounds like it's a must buy. Um, it sounds like to me, if is that wanting to come out of the 122, or are we wanting to look? There's also a tower coming our way. It's going to cost us. We're not sure what exactly going on the northwest corner of the area of the community where there is no radio service. If I understand, they have to use cell phones. Thankfully, there's cell phone service in most of that area, from what I hear. But in looking at this cart, I'm trying to go through this budget. We've been asked to try to not raise taxes. I think it's all of our goals. It's definitely mine. That $75,000 car, which we've purchased, is about 3 pennies, 2.5 anyway, is what I'm looking at in this case right now. And I'm wondering, is this committee in the point of looking to go through the 122? If not, there is money available in 127 and 128, which are ARPA funds that are left over. I don't want to spend those right now in those cases myself. I think we've spent enough in vehicles on those, and I was hoping we would use that money for the public in the future. But maybe if we're helping the public not have more taxes, that's the time to spend them. I will see what other members have at this time before I make a motion.
Okay. Looking at the 122 packet, and that's page 42 of your packets. The projected fund balance on June 30th of this year was 174,227, but the projected fund balance at this time next year was 138,977. So, if we opt to go ahead and do 60 from that, that would come out this year. So that 174 becomes 114, and that 138 becomes 78.
Of that, we won't disagree. Last year's budget had a projected line item for motor vehicles at $75,000. I'm sorry, not motor vehicles, law enforcement equipment at $75,000, where zero was spent this year. So as the sheriff mentioned, it is building and it built well. He has $50,000 in law enforcement equipment this year. There may be something planned to be purchased according to this 122 is what's in this 122 at 50,000. However, as we stated, there was 75,000 budgeted last year and none was spent. So that 50,000 may be planned, may not be planned. I don't blame him for putting it in there as an equipment expense in case equipments are coming up, but it looks like 75 was in there for last year and none was spent. It may end up back that may be 50,000 that ends up back in that number. May not.
All right. What's the thought of the committee on this?
Do you have is there any equipment that you're looking for on that 50,000 that you proposed?
Nothing really big planned, but we buy equipment throughout the year, small things like car radios, radars, just different things, equipment. And I would agree to cut about 20,000 off that from 50 to 30.
Exactly.
So if we cut that line item down to 30, would you be willing for us to move that 75,000 for that vehicle out of the 122?
No. Like I say, we cut this, if something comes up, that's where I'll pull my money from. It's kind of a standby fund where to buy stuff with. In the past, we're having to come and ask for extra money from y'all.
Did you say the generator he's asking for coming up in Monday night's budget is, he's wanting to bring it from the 122?
Yes, that's on as a budget amendment that would be before us Monday evening for us
That's
to
on
vote
this
on.
previous year. I mean,
Yeah, the current year, yes. Uh,
Is the sheriff asking to buy that generator out of the 122?
yes,
That's what's coming to us in a budget amendment?
yes.
I never heard anything about that.
Oh,
Who came
okay.
up with that?
That's what was in my email so,
That's the first I've heard of it.
oh. Okay, well,
No,
do you want that out of 122
No.
or would you rather have out of 101? If memory serves, I think there was about 150,000 estimated, I guess, unspent for the current fiscal year out of 101. So are you wanting to have that from 101 instead?
yeah, you can take it unspent money and use it for that.
Okay.
Yeah, we keep buying out of my drug fund. I won't have nothing left. It took years to get it where I'm at now.
Okay.
And the reason it's so high, I had a bunch of used military surplus stuff we sold. And that's the reason it got up so high. We still got a few more pieces to sell, but, I'm just trying to look out for the future and things we're gonna need.
Okay, I mentioned it out of 122 because that was what was in the email that I
Yeah.
got this morning with looking at budget amendments. So, Mr. Gully.
Miss Amy, I don't know if this is possible. I don't see us doing that in the past. Would you be willing to pay half of that car out of here, 37.5? Is it possible that we cut half out of one fund and half out of another to pay for that vehicle? I don't see a problem with that. I don't see anything that would hurt us in comptroller. Second,
And yeah, you choose a fund, we move it over to one fund.
that's what I thought. Same thing. Didn't see an
Tell me
issue there.
what to do.
Sheriff, would you be willing to do 37.5 of that out of this, which would be half that car?
No.
Sheriff, I'll ask you this question. Can we go without a car this year then, out of the 101?
Yeah, just make sure if we do that, we put it back in for next year though.
I'll make a motion that we look at line item 718 on this is the 101, page 17, 54,110, line item 718, which we removed one vehicle and now remove the other.
I'll second that motion.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Gully and a second by Ms. Atwood to strike line item 718 completely. Now take that from 75,000 to 0. Any discussion from all in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, that carries. Mr.
I
Gully.
would like to add this statement. In the event that the negotiation goes to the county's favor for next year's contract with the prison board at this time, in the event that it goes to our favor, I would ask that we look at purchasing those two vehicles as needed if he needs those at that time out of some of that money. That can be a one-time expense, quick.
Yeah, when we gave Mr. Baylor his negotiating instructions, I believe we specified at that time that would be whatever we got would be split between 171 capital projects and the sheriff's department. Of course, we didn't specify amount, so that would certainly be I said that would certainly be an option. Of course, I mentioned last week too here, whenever the Enbridge starts coming in, that I would prefer to see that as much as possible toward non-recurring expenses, and that would be a non-recurring expense as well.
I'll make this comment right here on the Enbridge. It's a down the road piece and we think it's coming and I hope it does. But I'm gonna be honest with you, that jail is gonna take every bit of it. You might as well count like that money don't exist. That jail's gonna take every bit of it. I know we're putting in a wheel tax possibly. It's coming up for vote again this month. But that plus Enbridge might cover this note. I'm being straight with you.
Understood.
quit counting on the Enbridge money.
Sheriff.
I did mention to the mayor too, when there were get the contract, the money from the prison comes in, where they might be this fall sometimes. I might look at maybe getting those 2 cars in January.
Okay.
Just wait for the money to come in. I'm fine with that.
Thank
Mhm.
Thank you, Sheriff Russell.
Okay. I guess, since we of course, put off 122 the other night, I guess now that we have that question, do we want to go ahead and look at approving 122?
I'll make a
Before
motion.
before you do, can we get a bottom line of where we are on our 54-110? We just struck some more money out of it.
Okay.
I just want to see what Amy's got bottom line at now.
Bottom line is 2,351,205. 2,351,205.
I'll
Okay.
go back and would like to make a motion on the 122 with the amendments of reducing the law enforcement equipment to 30,000.
All right, I have a motion from Ms. Atwood to approve County Drug Fund 122 with the amendment reducing that law enforcement equipment line item from 50,000 to 30,000. Is there a second to that motion? I have a second by Mr. Ford. Any discussion there? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, that takes it through 122. And did anyone else have anything they wanted to ask the sheriff about while he's here tonight?
Fifty to 30,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Total expenditures are 31,250. Your fund balance as of June 30th is 158,977.
All right, if no one else has anything for the sheriff. No, you're fine. All right, right, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
I won't slip on out.
Okay. All right, now we will get to what was on tonight's scheduled agenda. Start with emergency services, rescue squad, 54,420. This is on page 22 of your packets.
Mr. Gregory.
Mr. Gully.
Miss Amy, the 18,720 out of on line item 316 out of per diems, did that include was that half a year of those new monies, or was that a whole year of those new monies? We raised the rate last year.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes, so the $50 started July 1st. Mhm.
I want to be sure I was clear on that because I don't want to move them. That one looks low, if it makes sense there. But remember, this year we raised the rate. So half the year was on one rate, half the year was on another. With that said, in looking over this budget, I would make a motion to approve this budget as presented.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Gully to approve as, second by Bubba Gregory to approve as presented. Any discussion from any of the commissioners here? All right, all in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, rescue squad is approved. Next, we'll go to emergency management, 54,490s, page 23 of your packets. Total proposal here is 98,080. It's a $5,187 decrease from the current year. Mr. Gully,
Ms. Amy, will the employee medical on this one line item 212 change?
employer Medicare.
And there's no insurance on this one, medical insurance?
No, this employee's insurance comes out of 118.
Mr. Gully.
Motion to approve as
All right,
requested.
all right, have a motion to approve as submitted, second by Mr. Ford. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, 54,490 is approved. Next will be volunteer fire department. It's kind of 101 and 111. The 101 part is page 21 of your packets. Mr. Buckmaster, you want to step up if there's anything you want to speak to us on these?
I did reduce a couple of lines. The first four other salaries and wages, obviously you can see we haven't been spending it. Per diem's a big one. It's up. When I fill this out, if we continued at the average we were going, per diem would have been something over $97,000. It's down some now. We've had several more days of inactivity. It's difficult to judge that. And obviously the elephant in the room is that $150,000 building. I will tell you the initial estimate on that was $460,000. At which point I told the engineer, we just sell vehicles. I wasn't spending that much money, and he came back with a rough estimate of about $150,000. That's a 43 by 85 building, insulated, sprinklers, heat, minimal electricity, and 6 roll-up doors with a concrete pad.
Mr. Buckmaster, my only concern, that sounds like a really good price on that building. You said a rough estimate. How sure are we we're gonna be pretty close to 150? Because 150, is it gonna become in at 200?
Well, I know at first response it had been mentioned, went out for RFQ in February, if I remember correctly. Can you tell us where things stand in that regard?
The engineer we're working with is out of Cookville. They've built several buildings for EMS and emergency management in DeKalb County, Smith County. I looked at all of those. The initial building that they were looking at was a bunch of brick and mortar, which was not really what I was looking for. Once I convinced them of what I needed, they got an estimate from a company out of Crossville at $92,500 for the building in concrete. The rest of the expense is, I think it was $20,000 for sprinklers. There was an estimate for greenhouse heaters. Then there was another estimate for electrical, actually much more electrical than I wanted because code requires more electrical than I need. And to be honest with you, their price was 6% of the cost of the project for the drawings, 2% of the cost of the project for oversight, I believe is what it was at. But they changed their mind when we went to the cheaper building and they set a price for the drawings and then a price for oversight. Their oversight allows us, we have access to way more contractors, which gets better prices. So as far as to Mr. Gully's statement, the 150 actually is a little high. With the estimates we had, it was about 140, but by the time we get doing this with the volatility, the pricing on the metal, we put 150 in there. I could stop at 150, to be honest with you, and leave some of the stuff off. And we can come back next year if we had to, but I think that'll get it.
How close is that to being ready to get to go for bid?
Just need the approval.
Mr. Buckmaster, I heard 92 for the building. Is that a finished building?
Yes, sir.
So that is a turnkey building.
That is concrete, that is doors, that is metal, that is insulation, that is not electricity, that is not heat, and that is not sprinklers.
Mr. Ford? Use your mic, please.
Is it possible to take that out of ARPA funds?
We have already looked at and already approved to move what was remaining from ARPA over into the 171 capital projects.
Take it out of 171 then.
That would be an option if the committee wants to go that route. Mr. Buckmaster, how would you feel if we opted to do that out of capital projects as opposed to 101?
Mr. Chairman, where the money comes from, the building is to, so we say, get the two trucks that are outside, obviously get them inside. It's way more building than that. The question was raised, could that building accommodate rescue given the shape of their building and the amount of money it's going to take to fix it? I will say this building will accommodate rescue, and that's why it's as big as it is.
Yeah, First Response Committee has been looking at and actually has asked Fire and Rescue to look into trying to combine. I think for that reason, those discussions are ongoing. Mr. Gill, Mr. Gill, and I'll get you next, Judy. Mr. Gully.
First, okay. Looking at that move, I've tried to protect that 171 for a payoff for one day down the road. But it doesn't seem to make sense to go to the people when we do have that money sitting there. I'd make a motion that we move the $150,000 for this building to the 171 to come out of 171.
Okay, so basically strike this from this line item.
We're gonna strike it from here, move it to 171. We don't have a 171 here, so in our packet.
Okay. All right, I have a motion by Mr. Gully to basically move that. That is line item 707 from 150 to 0, with the understanding that we will have that come from the 171 capital projects fund. Ms. Kerr, in discussion.
I just want to make sure, is that new building only going to be storage, or does it need a bathroom for the other people coming down?
No, it's only for vehicle storage and props for training.
Okay.
We have a very large building with men's and women's facilities in it.
All right, I have a motion in a second. Mr. Gully.
I guess I just want to make sure of one more thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure where this building is exactly being built. Is it going to cause an issue with the current conversation about a possible jail location there?
Mr. Buckmaster, you can speak to that?
I had the mayor speak to the engineers about the jail, and we will not interfere with the jail project whatsoever.
All right, I have a motion in a second to remove that from the 101. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, that one is stricken. Ms. Kerr.
No, that's just,
Okay, got you. Saw green light. Mr. Gully.
I don't know how we want to go about putting that in the 171 later, but y'all, 150,000, I want to make sure we're building what we need to build in that piece of this conversation. 92,000 for the upfront building, electricity and heaters What else did you say you needed?
Sprinklers.
I will ask one question on here, Mr. Buckmaster. Line item 338, maintenance and repair services vehicles. 30,000, which is the same as this current year, but looks like only projected to spend about 12,000 there. I think I beat Mr. Gully to the punch there.
I believe that line item was high because of the 50,000 that was spent in 24-25, which is when we, if I am remembering correctly, is when we redid the brush truck that had been wrecked. And that's when we paid for its services, which I believe were done at Blankenship. So there was an expense there that was kind of sitting on top of us. I don't think we've got any large maintenance or repair pieces in front of us right now that I know of. If that's the case and there's not any, could we strike that? And what would you be comfortable striking it to?
The 338, my most recent budget sheet shows me at 18,332.95. We've recently had PMs done on all the vehicles and pump tests. And I suspect that happened in between the time of this print and this. I'm down to 20. I'm at 20. I could go to 25 if that helps. I wouldn't want to get much lower than that.
Are there any other line items that anyone has question on in Fire 101?
Just a comment, and I know this can't be controlled necessarily, but it can partially be. I would hope that we keep that line item 316 around or under the $75,000 mark with the number of calls that go out. Leave it in there in case things happen. You never know what might happen, but I would hope we would try our best to manage that to be under or at $75,000 for next year. 52 coming in this year. You're going to have a different rate on the other half of that. Should cover that other piece of that's what I'm saying. That's where that puts us right around that 75 mark.
I know when we discussed at first response last year, the increase in the per diem, there was some discussion of whether to try and go to a graduated pay rate. I think there are other volunteer departments in the area that do committee chose to take no action at that time. Given this big increase, that might be something we re-examine, but again, might, obviously can't, and we can't tell another committee what to do. Mr. Buckmaster.
I would tell you at the time of this draft, the average was over 97,000. As of yesterday, because of the change in call volume over the last month, the average is now down to 88,000. Obviously, we can't tell who calls for what. We've had a lull, bad as I hate to say it, because that always causes problems, but it's trending downward right now. Again, when I did this, all I could do is take the amount that we had divided by the number of days that we had. I will tell you, as I told the First Response Committee, we are up to 25 members now, more than we've ever had. And our call volume is up, therefore our participation is up. I'm not real sure what the solution would be. I don't think a graduated pay scale will. I think that's going to cause more problems than it's going to do good. Obviously, false calls, control burns. I don't know what we do about those, but those are a very large majority of calls here recently.
Mr. Gregory.
So if you got 25 members and you get a call, so all 25 respond, we gotta pay the 20 for all 25, or do you have like a 10 come out then? I mean, how's that work?
It's an all call. Whoever's in town shows up. Uh, it may be 4, it may be 7, it may be 11. We used to average 7 people for a structure fire. My average is up to about 11 right now, which is a far cry less than a paid department with basically 24 fire trucks and 73 firemen. It's difficult to determine. You get a call for smoke showing from a house. You think the house is on fire and come find out mom burned the beans on the stove, but everybody shows up just in case. It is very difficult. But yes, everyone shows up that's available when there's a call.
Well, and I guess in theory, that could even be something for first response to look at. But again, we can't make that decision here.
I mean, I mentioned that a year or two ago in a meeting. It ought to be, I mean, maybe some kind of protocol, put 10 on call and them 10 come out. I mean, that's something y'all can look at, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Gully.
Mr. Reed, can Miss Amy give us bottom numbers where we're currently at?
For 101-54-310, the bottom number is 212,525. With a difference in the red at 18,308.
All right, I have a motion by Ms. Atwood to approve with the 2 amendments. A second by Mr. Gully. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, 54-310 is approved. The next part of fire is from 111. That's page 78 of your packets. And this is a status quo of 15,000. Same as the current year. All right, motion to approve by Ms. Atwood. Do I have a second? A second by Bubba Gregory. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, 54-310 is approved in 111. All right, now we will move to ambulance fund 118. That is page 37 of your packets. As mentioned last night, Mr. Beatty was not going to be able to be here since he was going to his daughter's softball game in Gordonsville. Everyone should have this sheet that was presented tonight. Basically, I talked to Mr. Beatty yesterday morning with 2 questions that I had with regard to the budget, and this is our conversation. I asked him about the ambulance remount. He had mentioned to first response that he was trying to get a grant on that. Based on that conversation, he did not think it would come through this year, but hopefully would next year. He did indicate that he thought the current ambulances would make it another year if we opted not to go with that remount. Of course, he had that in the original 25-26 budget, and Budget and Finance struck it last year. Also had asked him about the third-party billing software that contract that we put in place earlier this year after Teresa retired. Matt indicated apparently there's an app that he's supposed to be able to get a lot of the reports on. From what he said, he has not figured out how to make that work yet, and was waiting to get with someone from the company who could show him what to do in that regard. Mr. Gully.
Before we get moving, Miss Amy, I'm guessing the medical insurance 207 will change. Can you give us that number?
Medical insurance is 133,630.
Ms. Atwood.
Line item 169, part-time personnel. It looks like in 24-25 we did like 10,299. It's estimated to be at 12,111, but he's proposing for it to stay at 50,000. I would like to see that line item go to like 15,000.
Mr. Gully.
I would caution moving that line item there. It's better to have part-time people than it is paying overtime in those positions. We don't pay medical on those individuals. We don't pay any extra. I do understand where you're at, and I wish it would be used more.
That goes to my next line item.
Ms. Atwood.
187. I just do not understand. I cannot comprehend why we were still paying over $350-something thousand in overtime. I wish somebody can explain it.
Mr. Gully.
I think the small breakdown is this. When this department receives a raise, they're also receiving a expected, as you'll see on every pay period, 48 hours of paid overtime, which is 48 at time and a half. Whatever money you give $20 an hour, and let's just base it at that number. That means that employee on 48 hours of a pay period, which I believe pay periods are every 2 weeks. So they're getting an extra week every 2 weeks plus in that piece. And that employee, if that makes $20 an hour on paper, actually has every pay period an extra 48 hours of overtime that's making $30 an hour.
Mr. Ford.
Beverly, what's happening there, you got 24 on, 24 off. If you use your fingers to count that up, it means they can work 4 nights in a week, starting Monday. That's why it's killing us. It's actually why it's killing us.
I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I just don't know how you fix it or what, or how we go about trying to reduce that line item.
Mr. Ford.
It just blows me away.
The worst thing I fear about this, and I don't even know if this is true or not, I'm gonna say it anyway. I hear the days is they work one day, they're supposed to rest the next day. But I'm hearing, I've heard it more than once, that they go somewhere else and work the day they're supposed to be resting. What's gonna happen if we have a major accident out there and they found out those guys didn't rest the day they're supposed to rest?
But if they're going somewhere, a different jurisdiction, I don't know how much we can do about, I mean, I don't know, and I don't know, is there anything we can do about that?
Some of them's going to Lebanon. I don't know if that's true or not,
Hey,
but if it is, somebody somewhere down the road's gonna be in trouble.
Mr. Gully.
I've said this a few times, and the hard part for me in this, and I want every one of our communities safe, but the hard part is this is about 3 calls a day average is what we were averaging the last time I checked. I don't think it's changed much. Do we have that with us?
I can find the last first response agenda. Hang on one second.
Mr. Chairman, I get that report periodically, and it's
Yes,
between
yes,
3
ma'am.
and 4.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one other question while we're here?
Yeah, please.
Miss Amy, could you go back to say fiscal year 21, fiscal year 22? Is it pretty quick on yours, and give us the bottom numbers for this in fiscal year 21, fiscal year 22, fiscal year 23? Be the 22, 23, those just, I'd like to see what those numbers look like then.
You're wanting line item 131.
Actually asking for what the, if you can get the bottom budget number, so the total budgeted amount. You can give me actual, you can give me.
Actual for fiscal year 21, total expenditures, 1,226,564. And that was a year that they bought medical equipment for 134,000.
Can you get that, 1,200,000?
1,290,169.
Thank you, man. Yeah, 22 and 23.
And then 22 actual is, let me get my eyes adjusted. 1,093,494. And that was no major purchases that year. '23 is 1,339,428.
I think we've got 24, 25 here from 23.
Yes.
Mr. Nallner.
In my younger days, I used to be an EMT and I went through the EMT training at Ball State. And I had to do my training right along with Sumter County. And in the 3 or 4 times that I had to do it in a 24-hour period, you do sleep. Some nights you get to sleep the whole time. Other nights you may have 2 or 3 calls. It just depends on it. But they move from apartment to apartment for extra pay, but just because you're working at another apartment don't mean you don't get your 8 hours sleep. It's just the way it is. That's the way they do it. Then firemen do it, EMTs do it. So it's just things they move from like it to make extra money.
Thank you. And to speak to Mr. Gully's point about the call volume, the last report that First Response Committee had, and of course, these are all available on the county website in the packets. The last report we had was February 2026. EMS had 124 calls that in February with 91 transports. I said, and those are the numbers that were presented to First Response for February. So we've not gotten a March relevance.
I might mention, I think we had this pretty interesting thing that happened in February, called a very large storm. I would say our call volume was up in the month of February. Could be off a little bit there, but I'd say it was.
Let's see.
I believe it averages somewhere close to 3, maybe right at 4 per day for the year. Miss Amy, while you were able to do those numbers so quick, would you mind going to 2020 and 2020 and 2019 for me?
Fiscal year 2020, actual total expenditures, 1,085,028. And do you need fiscal year 19? Actual, 1,065,573. And my last available is fiscal year 2018, which is 1,076,730. And there was a 99,000 motor vehicle purchase that year.
Now, if the committee has any questions that we think we need Mr. Beatty to be able to answer, we can put this off till Monday evening and have him here to answer any questions then. Ms. Atwood.
Line item 413. It just kind of concerns me that we're estimated at 70,000 and we're gonna reduce it to 55,000. And that's drugs and medical supplies.
That would probably be a question best addressed to Mr. Beatty. Unless Amy has anything from him. Now, of course, for 24-25, his actual was just over 48,000. So that, I don't know, what was there a one-time thing this year, perhaps? Good. Mr. Gully.
Just some numbers here, and I know I'm not moving anywhere right now, but I like to get my eyes around numbers. If I look at 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, minus 21 with a $134,000 worth of medical supplies, or I assume that was some kind of vehicle or something that was purchased, equipment, medical equipment. Those all ran right under 1.1 million. If I take the highest, the FY 22, to this year's projected and subtract the $200 ambulance, so we're just talking cost to cost is what I'm getting at in that case. That is a 31% increase in this budget in 4 years. Flat numbers.
Well, I will just point out, and it's just stating numbers off here too. Just look from 24-25, the medical insurance up from 89,585 to 133,630. In this year's budget, that's almost about $44,000 increase right there. State retirement from 48 to 56. That's another 8,000 or 8,500. So, and we obviously some of the fixed costs aren't going to account for all that, but it's definitely going to account for a piece, and that we really can't do anything about. Mr. Gully.
To your point, the actual 24-25 was 89,585 on medical insurance. The budgeted amount for this year, fiscal year 26, was 106,932, and it looks as if it's going to come in around 86,157. So that number really hasn't moved, and I was talking actual to these
Right.
pieces, so
Gotcha.
it hasn't moved.
Okay.
It actually decreased number of employees,
Okay.
I assume.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Kerr mentioned the data processing line 317, but at least part of that is the the new billing software, which took the place of clerical personnel. Because you'll see there was 23,500 in the current budget, and there's nothing in there for that one. So that's where a good bit of that increase is. It's in that billing software piece. Ms. Kerr.
And have we taken the difference in the medical insurance off this one yet?
Yeah, yes.
Has that already been done?
Yeah. Amy gave us that. That was the 133,630 that became. Jeff Gregory.
What is the remount ambulance?
Basically, as I understand, I think basically they would take the box off a current one, but they basically get a new chassis, mount the box on it. It's I think a little bit cheaper than getting a whole new ambulance. Is my understanding of how that works. So anybody feel free to correct me if
I was just reading, he said he was good with his trucks right now. That's the reason I asked.
you know, like I said, this was in the. It was in the budget this time last year, and you know the committee opted to strike it at that time.
In the minutes he's speaking of, it does say he's good with his trucks. Is he mentioning ambulance trucks?
Yeah, yes, yes. The ambulance remount was specifically what I asked him about.
But he's good with where he's at right now.
Said he was. Now let's say if y'all want to have him in Monday evening and hear from him directly, that we can do that. Or we can move forward tonight. It's entirely up to y'all. Yeah, no one has moved to strike it yet, but he did indicate in my conversation with him yesterday that he thought his department would be okay if we did opt to strike it another year. Mr. Gully.
Motion to strike the 200,000.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Gully to strike the 718 motor vehicles, to strike that $200,000. Second by Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford.
The 200,000 he's got there, is that for a new vehicle?
No, that's remounting one. It's basically taking the box off the back of an existing one, getting a new chassis, and basically putting the box on a new chassis.
So, Mr. Ford, I think to your question, that would be buying a brand new chassis, which is a brand new truck chassis.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. They've gotten a lot higher. The last one we bought was about 100,000, I think, 110 when we bought that chassis before. Out of ARPA, that was in 21 or 22. They keep going up, it seems like.
Yes, they do. All right,
We haven't voted on this one.
No, I know. Mr. Ford, that has to be recognized. So, any further discussion on this motion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, that 200,000 is stricken. Amy, can you give us updated numbers?
Total expenditures, 1,428,268. 1,428,268. Difference is in the red, 86,128.
What's the bottom line total one more time?
1,428,268.
Thank you.
Mr. Gully.
Just to clarify, the numbers I did a minute ago when I talked 31% was without what we just did. That was with the medical change that we had done and that 200,000 off of it. That was a 31% increase from what we were running 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, staying at that exact number. That's where this is. I'm alluding to that because the reason for that has come out of overtime. That's where our costs have greatly increased. And so we got to get our eyes on it somehow. That's where the change has happened, is in that number there.
Noted. May as well.
Chris,
Mr. Ford.
where did this 24 on and 24 off originate from?
That would probably be a question for Mr. Beatty.
Yeah, that's, Mr. Chairman, that is kind of standard for the industry, 24 on, 48 off.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Gregory.
When the part-time personnel, when do we use that? Or, I guess I didn't hear that. Just when we shorthanded on the other help, we use the part-time or?
I do not. Like I said, that would be a question for Mr. Beatty. Do y'all want to move forward with this one tonight, or do y'all want to have him in on Monday? Miss Atwood?
I just have another line item that I'm just curious about is 335, the maintenance and repair service building. You know, we had amended that and increased it. Well, let me rephrase that. So in 24-25, it was 74-23, which was actually spent on it, on some repairs, and I don't remember exactly what they were on. I know there's been discussion about the bathrooms need repairing. So 25-26, it was amended to 4,000, but I'm showing that we're estimated only using $500. Are we not fixing the bathroom? What is the holdup?
I do not have an answer for that one. Mayor, is there anything you can speak to?
I believe that's the year that we made some significant improvements in the kitchen, bought a couple of new refrigerators and redid a countertop, maybe a new dishwasher. There was some significant improvements made. Cliff did a lot of work on that to keep the costs down, but that's where that money was spent. Kind of redid the kitchen, actually. Maybe not new cabinets, but there was significant improvement made in the kitchen.
Mr. Gully?
Without knowing exactly where that's going, 500 this year, 4,000 last year, it's set at 10. I don't see anything listed for any plans. My concern is on looking at 335 and 338 is that we move $5,000 from 335 down to 338 to save you from a budget amendment later, since we just chose not to go with a new chassis.
Okay, is that a motion? Okay. Okay, motion is to move 5,000 from 335, add to 338. Did I state that correctly? All right, that moves 335 to 5,000 and moves 338 to 30,000. A motion by Mr. Gully and a second by Ms. Atwood. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right. Those line items are adjusted. Mr. Gully. Sorry to hear that. There we go. All right. What's the will of the body here? Move forward or have Matt come talk to us Monday?
Miss Amy, with the money that's been cut, do you feel as if we could cut pennies out of this and move them to the 101?
I think that would be doable.
What would you feel comfortable with?
Yeah, I guess, can you tell us what the fund balance is looking at right now with what we've changed, with what we have changed? 527,432. That's on page 40. That is the projected ambulance fund balance with where we stand right now with the changes we have made. 527,432.
I'm not looking at that page right now. What is the projected for this year, end of this year now?
End of this year currently was 703,465. We had projected it before the changes down to 322,966.
Just the reason I say that is reminder, when you budget, you're budgeting at 92% of your expenditure of your revenues and 100% of your expenditures. So you kind of, when you're looking at that number and you're saying 527, in my mind, I know that's not going to be an accurate number unless we have a major expense. It's going to be higher. It's projected, but it's already off 8% from the beginning. Keep that in your mind going forward.
Understood. Thank you.
Miss Amy, do you have an idea what number you'd be comfortable with?
Mr. Ford.
State will only allow you to go 92%.
Right. That's correct.
If you've moved 5 cents out, your fund balance would be 355, 382. I'm sorry.
That was moving 5 cents of property tax. That would make the fund balance 355, 382. Mr. Gully.
Miss Amy says she's comfortable with that. I'd make a motion to move 5 cents from the 118 into the 101.
All right, I have a motion to move 5 cents. Motion by Mr. Gully, move 5 cents, second by Miss Atwood. Can you go ahead and give us what the revenue number would be on this with these changes?
So that would put your revenue at 1,080,185.
That's on page 37 of the package.
And that's total revenues.
Yeah.
$1,080,185.
And that's putting the rate to 18.67 cents.
Yes.
Instead of 23.67. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, that moves to the 101. Mr. Gully.
I know this will take a minute or two, but Miss Amy, could you give us a possible, you don't have to do it while we're still going through this piece here, but if you could work in two tables there for a minute, give us where are we at on the 101 now? With where we are, where are we at, and what does the 101 need now to be a balanced budget?
Well, I was going to ask that question as soon as we had 118 done, but that's fine too.
If the members are good with it, I'll make a motion that we approve this budget with the amendments that we've made.
The
118.
118. All right, I have a motion to approve 118 with the amendments made, second by Ms. Atwood. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? 118 is approved. That takes us through every department.
Okay, so with 101, and this currently includes a 5 cent increase instead of a 10 cent increase. Do you want me to take that 5 cents out? Okay. Please hold. Okay, that puts tax rate back at 2.1. And that puts fund balance June 30th of Fund 101 at 1,080,185. $1,046,552. That does not account for the reserved funds. That's just the straight fund balance.
Get that one more time, please.
$1,046,552.
And what would the unassigned fund balance be?
The unassigned fund balance would hit at $531,643.
Everybody clear on where we are number wise now? Mr. Gully?
And Miss Amy, just making sure I'm clear on that. That is no increase in tax at all on that, and just the 5 cents that we moved in and the monies we've cut from it.
Mr. Gully?
Can you give us the projected unassigned for the end of this year? Mm-hmm.
That was the 531,643.
No, the current fiscal year, I think is the way we've asked before.
So sorry. We are estimated to be at an unassigned fund balance of $2,024,289.
So it's gone.
289.
Okay, so it's gone up from the 1993 that's on the,
Mhm.
okay. Mr. Gully?
I'll make this point. I believe that number last year was projected, and you might can get us to us either around 900 or 1.1, somewhere in that range is what I was remembering.
I want to say it was around 1.1.
Budget for 2025, or we're looking at 25 or 26?
Projected at this time, actually, for the same conversation we're having right now, which is 531, 653.
I don't have that specific one. The amended budget was at 1.4. And then in 25, the amended budget was at 1.1.
I'd be going off memory. I believe it was somewhere between 900 and 1.1 in that range is what it was. And what I'm saying is it's right now projected to come in at 2 million. That's part of that 92%, that 100% when you're looking at budgets, it's going to come to the table. So I don't like looking at 531,000 as an unassigned projected, but I know theoretically it's likely going to come in $1 million higher than that unless we have some crazy things go on. Hopefully those don't happen. Now, I will ask this question, Ms. Amy, is that fund balance at all due to sales tax and the large increase that happened this year?
That did help, yes.
Something to keep in mind, we've had a gift of a river area where pipe could be unloaded, and I don't know what individuals in the past in 19 range when they were building this idea that all items that are shipped to a community where they're shipped to, the sales tax goes there, but I thank them for it. It has saved this community in a lot of ways, more than people realize, not having to have tax increases. However, it has been a large increase on last year that we need to be careful it's not a gift that's going to continue to be giving. I sure hope Enbridge is going to deliver most of their compressor stuff and all that through the barge out here as well. And that company makes more than 500,000 a year so that we get that same tax for this next year.
Understood. All right, are there any other reviews on fund balances or tax rates that anybody wants to go over this evening? Coach Gully.
I'll end with two comments. One, I think we've got a pretty strong budget. I know it's got some pieces in it. It's not great right now for all, but it's pretty decent in a budget. And two, how come we did not have the water department?
We don't have to because we don't give them any money.
Won't disagree, but we still own that department. It was purchased by this county. It's something we need to keep our eyes on.
Okay, well, we can probably have something. I assume that they've submitted their budget already, Mayor. The water department. Okay, Amy says she believes they're reviewing their budget this month.
We reviewed it last year, did we not?
Okay, I guess that's something we can look at Monday evening. Assuming that's the will of the body.
Just a reminder, that is an asset of this county. It is owned by this county.
It is.
It needs to be seen by this county.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Well, then we will look at, of course, Monday's meeting is already scheduled for 5:30, so we'll plan on having the water. We'll so we will review water at that time. 5:30 on Monday, yes, sir. All right, I believe that takes us to the end of tonight's agenda. Hang on, is there any public comment? Okay, I have a gentleman back here wanting to speak. If you'll come up to the microphone, please, sir. And just state your name for the record, if you would, please, sir. Hit the button right there. There you go.
Good evening. For you, those of you all that don't know me, I'm Dale Thaxton. I've been looking over quite a few of the meetings here lately and trying to catch up and keep up. I haven't been able to make it to the meetings because I work swing shift. There was a few things I'd like to address or make known to the commission and the people. First and foremost, Commissioner Atwood had a question about the 350 something K for EMS. A good way to alleviate that, get with Beatty, more staffing. I don't have exact numbers, but approximately 4 staff members would save you probably about $100,000 a year. Just give or take. I don't have exact numbers, like I said. The radio tower. I worked for the sheriff's office 2022 to 2024. And back then we had issues with 231 South. It is a priority. That's probably something you guys should try to push as fast as you can. It's a safety risk. Law enforcement involved shootings. Been happening quite a bit on traffic stops here lately. Officer's out on a call. He gets shot. How's he going to contact anybody? Nobody's going to know about it.
I will go and state that tower project is out for bid right now.
Well, I understand that. I just, what it is it's been an issue since 2022 and it's now 2026.
won't disagree. That was left up to the sheriff to push for that piece in that conversation. It hadn't come to us with that request. It's just been stated, we need it. I'm not trying to throw him on the bus. It's just, it hadn't come to us and said, hey, let's build this.
I understand that 100%. Also with, that goes back to the 911 emergency. Does that fall under the mayor or does that fall under the sheriff's office? Who's in charge of 911 emergency services in Travis County? Because it's very unclear.
I think it falls under EMA.
Okay, if you get online and look, it says it's your responsibility.
Okay.
That's why I said it's unclear. I don't know who does it because I know Chief Cothran, he runs a lot of dispatch. He deals with all the radio work and stuff. And then you've got, like you said, the MA, and then it says it's supposed to be the mayor's responsibility. So who actually owns that to actually do something about it?
Well, obviously, dispatch is paid through the sheriff's department, we have a 911 board, I believe that oversees some of that as well.
Okay. That's all I have. The radio tower is just a safety risk. I mean, it's been a thing for a while. The pool project, that came up a while back. It's already done with, but the people could have been more involved with that. I feel they weren't reached out to by the commissioners. And what do you guys want to do? How could we make this? Private funding got brought up one time, and then the next meeting it was just shot down. Like somebody made a motion to remove it from the project or from the budget or the grant, I believe it was, and that was the end of it. I mean, it could have been discussed because I'm sure there's a lot of people, taxpayers, that would like to actually have that, because now you've got a splash pad and a pool that's not going to be here for at a minimum 2 years. That's 2 summers of revenue that you're sending to Wilson County, Macon County, Sumner County. It could have been money coming into the county. Yeah, it's an upfront bill, but it's money that would come in. And I just don't think that we were involved enough. Like it wasn't brought to us enough to actually discuss that with you guys. Capital projects, that goes into the sheriff's office, for the jail, more or less. The jail has state inmates. Every county's jail has state inmates. They get a revenue from the state. Macon County, whenever they built their new jail, 98, I think it was, their state inmates paid it off. And the reason I bring that up is the sheriff's office doesn't get revenue from the state inmates. Where does that money go? Into the general fund for the county? Does it come back down to the sheriff's office? How is that money distributed?
Contracted prisoner board currently goes into the 101 general fund.
Okay.
Which has the law enforcement.
And 101 has law enforcement as with law enforcement budget is within the 101.
So it goes back into the law enforcement. Okay. I didn't know, but I'm not as privy to all the information. I have to ask and pick and pry, and I hate having to ask Miss Thomas for everything all the time. I feel bad putting her to work. Which hasn't been brought up in a while for law enforcement pay. That's Sheriff Russell's thing that he would have to address. But just for you guys to know, going forward, it might come up. The average pay in Tennessee for a law enforcement officer is $38.75. That's the average pay in Tennessee. We're way below that. Macon County's way below that. Rebel Springs, Smith County, Sumner County is catching up. Mount Juliet, Lebanon, they've caught up, but we're still behind. And in order to keep law enforcement first responders here, you are probably going to have to start trying to find a way to budget to help give pay raises, because Sheriff Russell doesn't ask much for pay raises. I've known him for a long time, and he doesn't hound you guys for money. Hey, I need more money to give my guys pay raises. And that's why I think he's holding on to his drug fund, because it's his money he can put towards what he needs to, so he don't have to ask for it ahead of time. Sheriff's office could use a budget rework. I believe I mentioned that to you. There's a lot of things that should take time, which I looked through the budget for 26, 25, and 24 for the sheriff's office. And a thing that hit me pretty hard last Tuesday was, I think it was the 431 line item budget. Is 431 law enforcement supplies. So he was budgeting for $20,000, and because he didn't spend, but I think it was like 7,000 that year, it just immediately got thrown in the chopping block. Oh, he only needs 8,500. But if you go back to 2024, that same budget, he had to get in the budget amendment because it was over $12,000. It was almost $13,000 And that's something I don't think some of you all, I'm not trying to put you guys on blast. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But some research should have been done before it was a motion to cut it to 8,500. Like they didn't look back. It's not gonna be the same every year. You might not need Post-it notes next year, but you might need them the year after. I mean, you never know. But the budget did show that he needs more than 8,500 for that. But nobody looked into that. Another thing was law enforcement equipment. I think y'all talked about the law enforcement equipment tonight. I don't know about that as far as the cars and stuff. I don't know how often he requests cars. I don't know the patrol vehicles. I know they should be replaced anywhere between 100 to 150,000 miles, 3 to 5 year longevity. And he did make the comment a couple of meetings ago that he had a couple that were already pushing 200,000 miles. And it should have been a way to figure out how to get him his patrol cars. I could understand like the detectives trucks and stuff like that. But I just feel like he was nitpicked at and money was just yanked from the sheriff's office and no one took the time to actually look and see where they can move stuff around. Like I said, I've been nitpicking the budget for a while and it does need some rework. Some money could be reallocated to other things and make it look better for the sheriff's office. But that's a future endeavor. And insurance. Insurance was a big thing when I was working here. So when I worked here, I was getting paid, I think it was $22 an hour. And my average take-home pay was about $1,400 every 2 weeks. Well, if I was to get a family plan insurance policy, it was roughly $1,400 to $1,500 every 2 weeks. And that should be something the commission should look into to help your first responders because they're essentially working full month for half the pay. They can't afford a single house income, can't afford $1,400 a month. That's literally what they would be taking home. Or well, no, it would have been, yeah, roughly $1,400 a month. It'd probably be more close to $1,500 to $1,600 now because of the pay increase. But the insurance policies need to be looked at. And Lebanon, I believe it is, they have the same policy. They got more people. Price is going to go down. And that's something the sheriff's office and the commission should look into. Macon County, Smith County, these smaller departments that surround us to get into an umbrella plan with those other departments to drop the insurance. It's just food for thought. I mean, options are out there because I can't afford $1,500 a month off of just my pay at work in law enforcement. And I say there's a lot of people that can't. You just can't live that way. Average mortgage payment's what, $1,200 to $1,500 a month? That's your whole paycheck. I believe that's all I have for you. I appreciate you listening. If there's
Thank you,
any questions for me,
Thank you.
thank you.
Do we have any other public comment?
I just wanted to make the statement that Sheriff Russell has pushed this tower for several years, and the First Responders Committee has mentioned in the commission multiple times each year, I think since 22, 23, that we needed this tower. So Sheriff Russell has pushed this, the need for this, as has our committee.
Thank you. Anything else from anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion returned by Mr. Gully, second by Mr. Ford. We are adjourned. Thank you.